Okay, hi there, and welcome to my 14.3 session plan. So we'll start off with my client aims. My client was Ellis. He wanted to gain more strength and power in his upper and lower body because he is a football player. Specific aims of the session that I would take with him would be just to improve his overall strength by doing explosive jumps and high intensity exercises. This aim will be measurable by seeing how much stronger and explosive he has got in a game when he is jumping for a header and pushing the man off the ball. This will be the specific session aims will be tested by um, and no, the aims of the aims of my session, sorry, will be to complete the exercise session and to gain knowledge of plyometric training, so I'll know what to expect next time. So it's kind of almost like a start off, so when he can continue to train and continue to get better. Here's my risk assessment of the um, sports hall, which is where my session took place. A PAR-Q that I did with Ellis. And then here was some also essential information about Ellis. So he had a 71 beats per minute for his average resting heart rate, and he is average there, as you can see. He's also average on the resting blood pressure. Is 123, and the average was 120 to 180. His peak flow result was just below average, but it's not that far off, nothing to worry about. And he also had a healthy weight on the BMI. So Ellis's fitness and skill level, he plays football twice a week, which does help his cardiovascular fitness stay high. But as far as muscular endurance goes, he is more weak on this because he does not lift weights or do anything to help increase this. So he doesn't currently go to a gym. The location of my session took place in the sports hall, and I need the basketball court width for the shuttle sprints, which I'll go on to explain. The resources I needed was the 3 to 4 gram dumbbells, a 6 kilogram medicine ball, and some boxes um, for the platform, and then just some cones. Ellis does not wear any jewellery, and we'd be told to remove it if he does, just because it could perhaps cause a hazard or interfere with the workout. It does include watches as well. The emergency procedure that I would have taken if anything happened, I said if any serious injuries are to happen, I'll make sure that an ambulance is called and that we are near to exit so he doesn't have to travel far if he gets injured. So it'll be easily accessible for him to get out or into an ambulance wherever he needs to go if a serious hazard takes place. Um, there has been a risk assessment done and it will help me to look out for things that have been put down on the risk assessment. This will help me look out for hazards that could occur more if I am aware of them. So the fact that that risk assessment has been done means that I will be on the lookout for those hazards if they are potentially going to happen. So actually starting the session, my warm-up, um, my introduction first. When I meet Ellis, I'll ask him how he was in the day, just in case he's feeling ill, which could affect his performance. So perhaps if he had a cold, that could affect his fitness because he might not be able to breathe as well. I'll then explain what session is going to consist of from start till finish. I will check he's wearing the right attire, so the right clothing, nothing that's not suitable that he perhaps couldn't work out in, and that he also does not have any jewellery on, as I explained before, and also that he doesn't have any recent injuries that I didn't know about until now that could also stop him doing the programme. I will be confident so as does not have any doubts that I know what I'm doing in the session. So I don't want to come across as shy or um, kind of clueless when I'm speaking to him because otherwise he might have doubts that perhaps I'm telling him to do the wrong thing that could cause injury. So moving on to the main content. So the workout is going to start off with some shuttle sprints. Oh wait, no, I haven't done that. Sorry. The warm up. The warm up is going to be a full body warm up. So we're going to start with some light jogs across the distance of the basketball court until the pulse has been raised to a good level. So that will normally be about 3 or 4 paces, possibly more, probably about 5 paces across the basketball court. It was then going to follow with some static stretches, with stretches that stretch out the full body, that is what the workout is going to be working as a full body workout for his football. The space will be organised in advance, so there is a space for all of this to take place. The reason I've chosen to do these warm-up exercises and stretches is because it will get the muscles and parts of the body that will be used in the session ready for it, so that there's blood going to those muscles, so when the session starts they're not overwhelmed. So the main content now. The workout is going to start off with some shuttle sprints. The distance of this is going to be the width of the basket, the length of the basketball court, and that's obviously going to be marked with some cones so he does know where to go. He's going to do 6 repetitions of that, and he'll just do 2 sets, and then he can have a 1 minute and 15-second break in between, which I'll be timing. The reason I've chosen for Ellis to do this is because it will help his explosive power in his legs for when he is sprinting to beat a man in football, so it's specific. We will then move on to press ups with the kettlebell after each rep, with a kettlebell lift after each rep. The weight of the kettlebell will start as an 8 kilogram, but if it is too heavy, there are alternatives and we will go lower until he can do it at a steady pace without injuring himself or messing up his technique and form. Then he's going to do 2 sets of that, and he can have a 1 minute break in between each one. Ellis is going to do this exercise because it will be used in football in the upper body when trying to shield the mark off his ball. And this exercise is good for Ellis because by doing a press up and then lifting the weight as well, it's going to be working his triceps when he's pushing up, and then his biceps when he's lifting the kettlebell, and also his back when he lifts that kettlebell up or whatever weight he's using. We're then going to move on to some tuck jumps. He's going to do 12 reps of those, so they are quite quick. 45-second break in between. After that, we'll do some plyometric box jumps onto a platform that is just above his knee height, and that's how high we'll measure it with. He'll do 10 reps of this, a 45-second break, and he'll do 2 sets. The reason I've chosen for us to do these 2 exercises is because it will really help his explosive power in the legs, because it does replicate exactly what he's going to do on a pitch when he's jumping up for a header. In his legs, it's going to really help with that explosive power. He's then going to move on to some medicine ball squat throws to me. The medicine ball is going to weigh 6 kilograms, and he's going to make sure that he explodes upwards to, again, help that explosive power in his legs. And then it'll just take 4 seconds to go all the way down. He's then going to do 8 reps, 2 sets, and a 50-second break in between of that. He'll be doing this exercise because it will help with the explosive strength in his legs for when he is running on the ball, but also having to defend a marker from the ball with his upper body, so it uses these 2 things. We will finish off with a shoulder and back superset. I'll explain what the exercise he will be doing is in person, as they need to be demonstrated. He will do 15 reps of 5 exercises in quick, intense succession. This will help build strength and muscle and power in his shoulders to help keep the markers away from the ball and hold players off when fighting for a header. So that is my main content session. So the cool down. The cool down is going to start off with some very light jogs whilst rotating the arms around. This is so the arms are being stretched out also whilst running, which will be getting the muscles back to their pre-workout state. We will then do some static stretches, and we'll hold each stretch for 30 seconds to really stretch the muscle out to stop them seizing up. He will then do 4 stretches in total, 2 on the upper body, 2 on the lower body, both for 30 seconds on each leg, on each side of the body. This will lower his heart rate and help him feel a lot more mentally calm because of this. It will also stretch the muscles out so they do not seize up when he has stopped, and also does not give him pain in the morning when he wakes up, possibly 1 or 2 days later. Once the session is ended, I will then pack up the apparatus I've used so it does not cause hazards to other sessions. So here was the questions that I asked Ellis after the workout. I said, did you find this session enjoyable? He said yes. Did the trainer show you what to do? The trainer being me, in that I showed him the right technique and use of equipment, and alternatives were made available. And he said, yes, there were alternatives and they were made clear. However, not on every single exercise. That is something I need to improve on. Was the trainer clear and precise on instructing and directing the exercise? He said, yes, he was. I knew what to do at all times, which is great. So that shows we had good communication. Was the equipment set out before the exercise took place? He said mostly yes, but again, not on every single exercise because he needed to go and grab some cones at one point. So that is again something I could improve there. Was my time management good? So perhaps saying when the exercise was going to be over, and then I've put an example there saying like 20 seconds left or 10 seconds left or whatever, how long they have left just to keep them going. He said, yeah, it was clear. The time management was good. So here's my session feedback. This is what the observer was doing while I was watching me. And now here are my strengths and areas for development, in my opinion, and reading the observer's sheet that I've put together. So here's my strengths and weaknesses. My two strengths, the first one, I feel that the communication between us was good, in that Ellis knew what to do because I was clear with instructions. I made this happen by doing a demonstration and showing him alternatives. My second strength is that I feel that Ellis was also motivated throughout the session because I was motivating him and telling him that he was doing well. So he did have good communication. However, the areas for improvement, the first one is that I feel I could have been a lot louder in the session when speaking, because if we were perhaps in a proper gym environment, then it would have been very difficult to hear me, and he then might have then lost his technique or lost form because he couldn't actually hear me telling him what to do. The second weak areas for improvement is even though I did show some variations, I did not make them clear on every single exercise, which I should have done. This would have meant that if Ellis was ever really struggling, then there would have been alternatives he could have then asked for if he couldn't um, if he couldn't have done the exercise. But if he didn't even know there are alternatives, then he would have just had to carry on. So here are my strengths and weaknesses regarding my actual program writing, so the session content itself. I feel that my session was good because it was sport specific to football, in that it involved exercises that help increase muscular strength and power in the upper and lower body. So most people associate football with just lower body, as it does use your feet a lot, but he is going to need a lot of strength in his upper body when it comes to the physicality side of it. So when he's fighting a marker off the ball, and guarding them away from it, maybe if the ball's running out of play and he needs to protect the ball so he can be a throw-in for his team. So yeah, that's why legs are needed, and I did incorporate that into my session. The areas for improvement, I feel that my program could have had exercises that have more variation to them than the ones I chose. The reason for this is that if we were to run out of variations to do on the exercise, um, on the exercise that we use, because Ella's found it too difficult, then it would have had to be skipped. So what I could do next time is get a session where there are variations, and there are lots of variations that get easier and easier and easier until a point where anyone could do them. So we wouldn't have to skip any exercises. And that is it. Thank you for watching.